Good morning, trade pros. Welcome to the morning market update. Let me just get set up. I hope you guys are having or have had a wonderful weekend, because now it's over. Now it's time to get back to work, back to the trading desk, back to the markets, back to having some fun together as a group. All right, I had a great weekend. I'm a little tired, I'm not gonna lie to you. It might look that way, and hopefully it doesn't look too bad. But I kind of had a bit of a low sleep night. I'm hanging in there. So let's get into it. Markets are mixed today, and we'll talk about what's to come for the week, what we can expect, some options activity. We're going to turn around and do the trading plan. Also going to talk about FOMC, which is part of what to expect for this week. Let's kick things off. A little bit less notes for today. Get you started a little bit sooner, and we're kind of waiting for a response from the market. That's going to be the most key and important thing. So markets are mixed. Traders are awaiting NVIDIA earnings mostly, but there's a lot more on the go. So overnight, European is mostly red. Stocks are down. Stock 600 down 0.4%. DAX is down 0.6%. U.S. futures, slightly green, but not really moving too much. The U.S. dollar is flat as well in today's session. Gold is down 0.2%. All right. Crypto's a little softer, down 0.7% and down near $95,000 per coin. So, markets haven't really moved drastically and or dramatically from Friday. So we're kind of taking the tone of where we close and heading into it with the open here overnight. We'll talk about that a little bit more when I turn around. All right, in terms of the week ahead and what's been happening and what the major catalysts are for the upcoming few days. Well, we got a lot from November 17th to the 21st. The next 5 days, including today, the next 4 days after today, we got big stuff. NVIDIA earnings, FOMC minutes, RBA minutes, global CPI and PMI releases. All right, so let's start with the first and most important one, Wednesday. Wednesday's a blockbuster day. So because Wednesday is such a big and such an important day, I think it might take away some of the volatility and volume out of Monday and Tuesday, especially Tuesday late afternoon as we leak into this Wednesday session. It's gonna slow down. So understand that Mondays are typically a bit slower, and because Wednesday's such a big day, Tuesdays might be a little bit overshadowed or a little bit slower as well. And so what you kind of want to keep in mind is that it might be a slower start to the week, and that's okay. Don't force it. Don't push it. Wait for the plan, and your setup will develop. And when it does develop, then you know what to do. But just don't force it is all you got to remember on a week like this. All right, but Wednesday's a big day for sure. NVIDIA earnings is the first thing. All right, the AI race is in the spotlight, so NVIDIA is a big constituent of that. So that information is going to be super important. Everyone's going to be eye locked on it and responding to it. All right. Also Wednesday, with I was gonna say with NVIDIA, I wrote a note that Burry's 1 million NVIDIA puts and SoftBank's exit from the company, are gonna need a follow up with this earnings report. So it's gonna be a very, very interesting big thing to watch no matter what you trade. So that's Wednesday, NVIDIA earnings. All right, but before that, on Wednesday, we're gonna have FOMC minutes. That's gonna be at 2 p.m. Eastern, and the focus is gonna be on how divided the Fed is for December. All right. Odds are now at around 50% of a rate cut, another rate cut in December's meeting, all right, which is coming up in a month's time, right? And that'll be the last one of the year. But the question is, it was almost 70% rate cut odds. Now we're at 50%. And so the question becomes, what is the latest update on that? What is the discussion? Especially now that we've got some really key important information coming out in the form of CPI. All right, the government is opened up again, and we're going to start to get more flow of information, and how that information flows after missing a month might be very important if the change is drastic. If it's not drastic, it's kind of not as important, and the government shutdown doesn't impact the news cycle as much for these events. But if there's a lot of change, there might be drastic repricing to that information if it's sudden, because we didn't get it for a month, right? Because the government was shut down. And the biggest wild card here is the delayed U.S. jobs data. It may drop next week. This is what we're hearing. We may get a drop out of nowhere on the BLS non-farms payroll, the jobs data. It might just come up as a one-off in the end of a month rather than the first Friday of the month. All right. Typically, it's the first Friday of the month. every so often ends up being the second one is based on how the cutoff of the data happens, whether the 15th of the month is before the third Wednesday. I don't know. There's a precise formula, and once in a while it actually happens to be not the first Friday of the month. But this one will definitely not be the first Friday of the month. So the discussion here is, and this is BLS as well, the Bureau of Labor Statistics saying this themselves. They say October numbers might be lost permanently due to the shutdown. What they're trying to do at the BLS right now is figure out, can we still compile a somewhat reliable number? Some people argue these numbers are sort of, massaged to paint the narrative we want anyways with their labor adjustments, their seasonal adjustments. But the question is, can they put together a report with the same integrity as usual is what they're wondering. And we don't have the answer to that, so watch out for that. I think whether they do release the missed data of non-farm payroll will actually affect the market, if depending on how much the report moves. So keep an eye on that. It's actually a pretty important thing. I personally think they're not going to do it. I think it's going to be a wash. The next one we're going to get is going to be the first Friday of December for the month of November, and we'll never know what happened in October. We'll just go September to December, or September to November, and we bridge that gap. The number just gets smoothed out. It's my thought. All right, for Wednesday, for FOMC meeting minutes, I'll give you something to start thinking about from now. All right, and then we're going to do a full kind of update and how to sort of trade it. I don't trade the news report anymore. I did try to trade it before, and sometimes it's gone well, sometimes it's gone really bad. But I do like to trade the follow-through of it, the response once liquidity returns post-release. All right, and I'll keep you kind of updated on that on Wednesday. But for now, traders are watching how divided the Fed is. October cut had both hawkish and dovish dissent. So they weren't all on the same page, the voters, FOMC, Federal Open Market Committee. Voting members were not on the same page, in fact. Odds of a December cut, like I said, are 50%. Powell stressed another cut is not assured. So that drove down the percentage to the 50. All right, and several Fed speakers are leaning hawkish since. And these aren't ones that are normally not hawkish. These are, members who are neutral starting to get slightly more hawkish. So let's see. All right, let's see what we get going into Wednesday. The Fed's on a blackout. There's no Fed speaker, so you don't have to worry about that. But the big thing is NVIDIA FOMC Wednesday. Then what do we have Thursday and Friday? I guess it's like kind of the trading of that information. So I don't have anything for Thursday and Friday, light calendar, but we are going to start to see the return of economic numbers and reports, start keeping track of it again. And I'll tell you this, I liked having a break from all these reports, because it's like you're huffing and you're puffing and you're gearing up to do this trade, and you're like, yes, the market is set up. This is exactly what I was looking for. And then you hear the news squawk at the top of the hour in 5 minutes time. We have this report coming out. That could mean this. Traders are watching for it. And you're like, gosh darn it. Like, I just got myself ready for this trade. Now I got to cancel it. I had the orders on the ladder. Okay, let's just skip this news. And then the news comes in and it's nowhere near your level anymore. And then the whole trade is gone. And you got to reset and do everything. So that's why I like the break from news. It was great because every trade that's set up was a trade that was set up. There was nothing that could interfere it. The interference plays are back. News is here. Government reopened. Let's talk about options activity. Based on the 3 near-term expiries, there's a call wall at 6810 on the ES. This is the S&P 500 futures. This is major upside resistance. It's the largest cluster of open interest at the moment. And then the secondary wall is at 6880, but that's about 70 points. So if we break the 6810, we have some upside umph, if you will. And then the put wall is at 6,700. So it's kind of narrowed into about 110-point range. And that's where dealer gamma is. That's the range that it's going to want to stick to for the next couple of days. All right, especially as we approach the Fed. Just keep that in mind range-wise. Okay, I'm going to turn around. I'm going to see some questions, have some discussion with you. Then we're going to paint the trading plan for the day. We're going to put it together. And yeah, let's do it. Turn that camera off, spinaroo, and do some screen sharing. Okay, there it is. Hi, guys. As I just remembered, good morning, Marco. King Kong, good morning. King Kong ain't got on me. I don't even know the movie quote that was. I'm tired today. But let's get into it. So thank you guys. Good morning to both of you. Let's see how we could. Okay, perfect. So this is where we're at. This is the level that I like to call the call wall stuff. I do follow the options activity and the open interest. It's pretty important to me just to graph it visually. I don't know what we were saying on Thursday, but Friday rather. But the Friday trade worked out exactly how we had planned here on YouTube. So here's where we are today. So Friday we were talking about leaning bullish off that 6,700. We thought, this sell-off was overdone. We're going into a weekend. We're getting closer to Thanksgiving in the United States. We're getting closer to seasonal strength out of the consumption that's going to be driven by consumers in the United States and globally for the holiday season. There's a lot of things to like and to anticipate seasonal buy strength that we were watching. So look, this sell-off, we were like, it's going to rebound. It's a Friday. We're heading into the weekend. Let's see if there's some upside. And sure enough, there's a lot of upside. Went from 6,700, 6,800, about 100 points. And we were right on the level too. So it looked good. So now the question is, can we build on this momentum? Because here's what you're starting to see. If you look on the left side of the chart, you're seeing one bottom, seeing a second bottom. The second bottom is, in fact, increasingly higher. And you're getting there was a sweep of the highs overnight. We couldn't really sustain it. And then quite a bit of a sharp sell-off on the overnight rally. Okay, but, the question is, can we now go through and take out the 6810? And we kind of need to. We need to get in there and start pushing. We got to build off of this low. We can't really let this low get all the way back down. I mean, we can, but it just wouldn't be the best. So we're looking for the bullish strength, but the question is, where will we see a turnaround? Because the moment it's just cratering. You don't just buy it here. You're looking for a level where it's going to be a lot of shorts getting stuck in the prices and giving them any opportunity to get paid. Well, here's what I really think. And for the day session, we, above this open, there's still some bullish possibility. I'm not saying keep buying this thing as it drops 50 or 60 points. All right, I'm not telling you that. But what you do want to know is we got a high, and we're going to come in here and support. The level that I like is the 20 and the 16. Okay, it puts in a little bit of higher low. Watch that level. That level is a level of interest for me. But also, before we get down there, if you'd like, you could join on the retracements up on the short side to get down to that 16 to 20. But I really like that level. I think that level is going to be something to watch for today. So for me, I'm just waiting for it to get down here. I don't want to sell into it. I think Friday was strength. Overnight, it's weakness. I think we're going to open a little weaker on today's session, drive down, and then reverse and just go up for the rest of the day. I don't know how high. I'm not saying we're going to go up there, but I think morning weakness is going to get it bought into, and it's going to lead to late day buying into the close. All right. Just instinct, also just reading the levels. That's the plan. That's where we're at. Good morning. Oh, wow. Tony, is that you? That's crazy, Tony. Prashant, good morning, if it was you. Where does On get these SPX gamma levels from? Any website for that? King Kong, I have Interactive Brokers. They have a really good, I'll show you what it looks like. But let me just pause the screen share first before I show you what it looks like. Actually, I won't show you what it looks like. If you go on my X account, and actually, yeah, 1 second. Okay, yeah, if you go on my X account, and I'm going to just slide it in here. I just posted it, and this is what it looks like. So you're basically seeing the call side activity and the put side activity. So these are calls here. All right, and then this is where you basically, it's the largest amount of open interest. But don't watch volume, watch open interest. Volume is not the same. Right? So watch OI, open interest is where you want to get your wall info from, and support and resistances, because volume might be different sometimes. I've seen it be where the largest volume is not actually the largest open interest. Usually happens when they're closer like this. This kind of blowout big level will probably be the same on open interest and volume. All right. No problem, man. I get it. I'm with you fully. Okay. So that's that. Any last questions? Tony, buddy, I hope you're doing good, man. Tony's classic. I went to school with Tony. What else do I have for you guys? That's it. I guess it's time to flip off sim and start the day and start trading. That's what I'm looking for, the ES. That's the market overview. Watch for Wednesday. We're gonna get some NVIDIA earnings. We have time until Wednesday, but it's gonna be a slower start today. I'm looking to track with this downside momentum and looking for the moment where the downside, because look, we've gone off the overnight high to the current level is about 70 points, 68 points, 69. All right, actually 65, my bad. 65-ish points of a sell-off, but I think in the morning on the open we get a little bit of a slip, and whenever I see a big short size getting stuck and starting to transition to buying, that's the moment I'm looking for my order flow trade, and for oftentimes ends up being the low of the day. So keep you posted. I'm about to jump the trading room. If you like what you're seeing and hearing and for the plan, jump in there with me. Weak open, strong close type of day. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking, OTM. That's kind of the read here in this situation, is that we open weaker today just to sell off a little more from that overnight momentum, and then we get the bid going. But I do think overall we've transitioned bullish, and the reason I say that is we opened near the lows and we rallied quite a bit in the prior day high, right? Look, 67.95 here on the chart. That's the prior day high. That's a big rally day. So now, the statement has been made. The first thing we need of two has been done. That is hold out the low to be a higher low. And the second thing we need to see now is some higher highs. And this could happen today, but into the afternoon. But, start breaking that 68.10. Start making a run for these 68.50s. Start targeting that 68.90. Above there, we start, looking very bullish for the upside for all-time highs. But we got to kind of start holding out that momentum. So that's why I think strong U.S. session into Friday. It's going to get tested today. And if we hold out that support at a higher low, it's going to make sense for the upside for the rest of the week. All right. Just don't get long too. I mean, look, guys, disclaimer, it's all your money. It's all your decisions. Just for me, it'd just be not getting long too early into the session and getting caught with that stop and then it reversing. It'll be a little more patient. Sit back, wait for the right moment. Love y'all. Take care. Hope you enjoyed this morning market update. For Black Friday, we're doing 30% off everything, including trading room, courses, whatever you want to see. Our community, check it out, tradeproacademy.com. All you got to do is use the code BF2025, Black Friday 2025. It's the year, if you're wondering what it is. And you get 30% off any one item or any bundle that you create just for a limited time. And I'm going to tell you guys this. During kind of my hiatus, there's been a lot of sales, and in 2026 there probably will be only one, if that. I'm working really hard behind the scenes to change. I don't like sales. I hate sales, but get 30% off. But I hate a sale because it takes away from people who have already invested in themselves, and it devalues your brand. Imagine going to a heart surgeon and asking him for a sale, right? Or imagine going to Warren Buffett and he's like, I'm going to give you some great value and investing insight now that I'm retired and I have more time. And you're like, bro, can I get a deal? I hate sales so much. This is the last one we're doing. I'll see you guys there and inside the trading room. I love you all, guys. Have a great day. We're going to go open the trading room. I appreciate you going to get more sleep, and tomorrow we'll meet again every morning at 9 a.m. We got a great podcast coming this Thursday too. Take care. Goodbye. Love you.